Hi, doggy.
Sorry, give me like 2 seconds. I am currently doing the setup I intended on doing while the countdown was going, but instead I fished. Also, the silence between me getting something on my line and casting it spoke a lot of volumes on my end, so I'm gonna get it together, chat, I promise. Hi! Hello, chat room. It's been a few days. I was really sick for a few days. Super Manager, thank you for almost 2 years of Hamster. Hello. I got sick. I got like I was really light sensitive the entirety of the last half of last week, and it was pretty rough. I could barely look at my computer for very long, much less my phone, without like having to be like, ugh. Just like that, Mr. Butt, yes, I led him there. I led him there so he would show you his butt. Let me go ahead. Thank you for the head pats. I am mostly on the mend. Because I've been sick though, we might end stream a little early tonight, just because I've been going to bed kind of early to try and recover. But geez, 40 stream streak. Wait, where's what is happening? You got the singing fish. Let me say hello. Beautiful Crow is here. You don't need to fish when you're already a catch. It's true though. Let me say hi to every Hammie. We're chaotic tonight. I can already tell. Let's see. Okay. Alright. Hold on, sorry. I have to scroll all the way up and figure out where the stream started. Hello, T-So-Z. Hello, Blackberry. Hello, Angry Seal. Hello, Johnny. Hello, Super Manager. Hello, Yetharian. Did I say hello already? I don't know if I did, but we'll say it again just in case. Hello, Bahamut Izza, welcome back. I'm happy you could join us today after your eventful day. Hello, Crow. Hello, Sea Kissy. Hello, Ref. I think I got every Hammie, and if I missed you, I promise it wasn't on purpose. I do have a little bit of I'm a little bit slow with reading. Hello, don't like work. I also don't like work. If I'm a little slow on chat tonight, give me a little bit of a wiggle room, just because my eyes, I'm not 100% better, but I am certainly doing my best. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna have ourselves a fun puzzle night tonight, and then maybe we'll do some streamer dailies. I always say it wrong, and Super Manager makes fun of me when I do it. The captcha? the one that has all of the like I am not a robot tests. We'll do some of those, and then I also have words on stream queued up, so we can play a little words on stream tonight. The ketchup. I always call it the catch paw. Like catch paw. Yeah, that's how I say it. I didn't know I was saying it wrong all this time. I'm a little stupid. Hi, hello, Digital Cathmera, welcome. You should have us do words on stream at the same time. Puzzle with a time limit to test our abilities. That's crazy. That gives me a headache just thinking about it. I should put you guys through, oh god, what's it called? That one show that used to air on Fuse. Was it like American Ninja or some shit? It was based off of the Japanese show where they had the obstacle courses. Cicada 3301, but for Hamela Hampter, what's happening? I'm already confused. American Ninja, yeah, Ninja Warrior, that's what it's called. Wipeout is also kind of in the same vein of it. Completely forgot that you're gonna stream today. Yeah, finally I returned and I stream tonight. And then yes, you should put a bomb on us. I don't have a bomb, but I could do this. Takeshi's Castle! Yeah, that show was awesome. I used to watch so much Ninja Warrior when I was like, just like a high schooler watching Fused, like whenever I was not at school. Shoutouts beat Takashi, my father. It snowed so much for me, and my BF made snowmans together and threw snowballs at each other. That sounds so fun! That sounds so wholesome and fun. Have a good snoozer. Thanks for coming by. Hi, MP. Welcome. Hello. It's good to see you. But yes, tonight we will be, I have a few puzzles set aside. I'm not gonna lie, this first puzzle I have set up, it doesn't have a lot of pieces, and the reason why I'm a little bit late tonight is because I was trying to put it together. And get it set up, but I couldn't get it any more, like, more pieces than it went by default, so it'll be a small one starting out. But I wanted to do this picture, but I should have taken the time to make it bigger. But you know what? Country hamsters, we make do. If you want to participate in tonight's puzzle, I will drop the link here in chat and we'll pin it here in a moment. But I'm gonna go ahead and get myself situated to my full screen so we can get started on having some fun. Oh, the streamer daily was, I am not a robot. I'm not a robot. That's what it's called. I just checked. Anyway, hi. Let's see. Give me a quick sec here. I'm gonna probably have to move some shit. Give me a quick sec though. Grinding in Dragon Quest, but I might try to multitask. Ultimate gamer moment. I believe in you, Ruff, but also no pressure, no pressure. There will be plenty of us, I'm sure. So we'll manage to get them done somehow. Anyway, let's see. Hold on. Let me pin this. Maybe if it lets me. Would one of my mods be willing to pin that for me, please? Cause it doesn't show up on my end. Big Cheese Feta? Who's Big Cheese Feta? That's my hamster. That's my hamster. And then I'll get us some music. Here, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit though. I'm gonna turn it down. Sorry if I blasted your eardrums. Thank you for the lurk, Johnny. I appreciate it. Oh, that's Crow. That's really funny. Sorry if you heard me make a weird congested noise. You're not surprised. You're not. That was intended. I am gonna move the Spotify widget though. We'll do this. We'll put it there. Does the music sound okay? It just so happened to start on Fallout Boy. I didn't intend for that, but it's excellent. Yay, I'm happy. Chat, it's been too long since I watched a Hamela Hampter stream. Well, we'll get back into things. You want to touch the ears? Oh, you guys are already almost done shit. There's the Major Puyo. This is what the picture will be. It's me with all of my Puyos. Baba boy. Whoa! Oops. You guys already did the first puzzle. Groupie time, I got this. Hold on, what button do I do to do that again? There they are. Uh-oh. Will the replay work? Will it work? We'll do it manually, that's okay. Yay, we did it! I'm already gonna go ahead and put up the next one. That's so funny, we already finished it. That's That was a fun stream, bye guys. Thanks for coming by. The Jigsaw Puzzle Demon, I believe you, I believe you. Let's do this one next. Let's do this one next. This one's by Kay. Can I do... Like the replay, like seagulls to breadcrumbs. Hamnation, mine. Oh, I only did this many again. Hold on. Let's see if I can do... Yeah, no, I wouldn't recommend going to the website on the homepage. I would be a little careful because you will get blasted with anime titties and I can't help. I can't do anything about that. My apologies. Okay. There we go. Let's try that. I'll pin it for 20 minutes and then we'll see. It actually worked this time, chat. For some reason, the preview won't work. The preview won't work, so we are doing our best. I could bring it up on my screen, but I could drop it in. I guess it probably wouldn't hurt. Let me do that. You guys get started and I'll do this. Oh God, make it a little smaller. There we go. We'll do that for now. And then yeah, if you want to build, if you want to work on the puzzle, click the link in the pinned message. Wait, yes, that goes. Oh yeah, I am hyper fixating on Joe Keery a little bit. My apologies. His music is good. I like his music a lot. There's a lot in this playlist. That is one of my meow meows right now. Mr. Bark says hello, chat. Oh my god, he's going on about something. I think this is an elbow or part of the sunflower seed. I might have to see what he's barking at. I'll mute myself for a sec though. Jesus, you guys are, we're gonna blast through these tonight. Time lapse. Good job, chat. All right, I guess we're gonna do the next one. So I tried to make them bigger, but it's kind of being stubborn tonight. I'm gonna try it again, maybe with a bigger file. Which I thought that one was bigger, but for some reason, it just keeps defaulting to 54, and it's very, very odd to me. Maybe this one that you did, CKC, will let me actually make more pieces. I'm gonna try it. It probably will. I like this one. Here we go. Yeah, I guess it's the file size. This one should do the trick though. No, it's not showing the picture again. There we go, there we go. It's this one. I don't think we've done this one yet, so we do it today. You like the little Puyo hams. Hi, Malice! Welcome, welcome. 1 million ham fans. I wonder who that could be. Who is it? No, we haven't done this in a while. I'm having fun already. There's a hand. More of a hand, maybe. Friday night financial domination. Wow. There's a hero in our midst. There's part of the book. Those two don't fit together, it seems. There we go. I think it's gonna be like right here. Ooh, Blackberry got the book. Wait. There you go. Color. Oh, Mr. Barktree. He came in like he knew this was happening. Okay, Mr. Bark, you can have another treat. There you go, buddy. These treats that I have for him kind of smell like Fig Newtons. I wonder if this is gonna make him want to eat my Fig Newtons when I buy them. This looks like a pigtail. How do they taste? If I ask Mr. Bark, I think he would say it tastes yummy. Hello, Vento. Welcome. Hello. I'm kind of curious. They smell very sweet, but I'm not gonna do Mr. Bark I'm not gonna do Mr. Bark dirty by like curiously trying them, even though I don't put it past myself. Everyone's just boogieing up here. I can do that too. I just like to watch you guys.
Hi, doggy.
Hi, doggy. Oh, the glove. The Hammie chair. Are these the... I can't say it. I'm all out and I can't give him one. These are... They are pork and apple recipe, soft-baked meaty bites from Bark Box. Oh no, Mr. Bark, you should only probably have 2 of those. Can I have one? Of course. But no, you can actually, I wonder if it's still there. No, there was, remnants of the GRENIES, but I think he has long since eaten it this afternoon. Oh, Mr. Bark. What is this? Is this part of Pigtail? Guys, there's a new Joji release today. I'm so happy about it. This is part of the hair. But where's? We've almost completed the Hammie. There's a lot of you guys here tonight. Thanks for coming out. This must be up here. What is this too? There you are. Every time we have to spell the treat, it reminds me of that one skit. Which skit? Tell me, tell me. Arm. There we go. Can't wait to bring you up in random VTuber chat and they're like, Hammie, oh, the funny. No! We can't have that. We can't have that. We can't have that. I will crumble into dust. It will be swift and quick. Oh, where's the piece with the little arrow in the corner? Is it this one? No. Is it you? No. Wait, is this it? Yes! I'm helping. Do you think there's a fish VTuber out there that calls their fans collectively as the Findom? I hope so, and I kind of feel like I missed out by not. I missed out. I fished out. I'm gonna fish. The TREAT one. I'm trying to think if I can remember that one off the top of my head. Chat breakfast. Fish breakfast. No, my aunt is a goldfish princess who calls her viewers fincells. That's iconic. That's queen behavior. Guys, we can't let my Spotify queue shit up tonight because there's a meme song that I've been listening to and I don't want you guys to know. Oh. Oh man, you go here. Yeah. What is it? No, I can't. Hey, we did it. Good job, chat. All right, you ready? Puzzle. Good luck in class, Kissy. Thank you for the lurk. All right, let me go ahead. Gotta bounce to make dinner. Ooh, enjoy your supper. I'll get another puzzle going. We've got 8. We have at least 8 tonight. note now. I'll type myself a note to look it up. Okay, I made myself a note. I'll look it up. Let's see. Let's do... Ooh. We'll do this one. This one's by June. Oh, do we do another? I might do 200 if it lets me, because there's a lot of black background here. Cool, yeah, we got it. So yeah, we'll do this art by June. One of my recent Twitter oomfies. Moody's. Let's see. There's the upper corner. One of these days I'm gonna figure out if there's an easier way for me to make the room so I don't have to constantly remake it, but I don't think there is. I fucked around with this so many times. Do these, yeah, those go together. This sounds so good. Yay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Yes. Is this? No. Oh, he wants to play. Hammy, doing this on a black background is brave. I know, I'm kind of tempted to change it, but now that you've said something, I'm like, no, leave it. Best song ever, but what is this cover? It's Ninja Sex Party. All of their covers are really good. I like them a lot.
Hi, doggy.
Hi, doggy. He's going crazy town in the background. They are some hip ninjas. They are. I just saw Friday Night Findom just swipe the piece I was going to go in for, and it's the best. It was really funny. Do we have any more edge pieces? Okay, yeah, we do. Stream sniping you. You know what? Fair. Favorite Teto song? There's a Teto version? I want to know. Hi, Rudiger Smoo. Can't believe Ninja Brian got unmasked in my lifetime and it's been so long. Ninja Brian is literally one of the funniest people on this earth. I want to listen to the Teto version. I'm gonna look for it. I'm not gonna play it here, but I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna add it to my list of shit I gotta look at after stream tonight. Thank you for the lurk, MP. Do we have any more side pieces, or did we actually put it all together? We might have put it all together. Oh. There we go. Hammy, I hope you're feeling better and getting lots of rest. Thanks, Lucid. I'm feeling a lot better now that I got rid of my light sensitivity. I've been wearing my glasses more and using eye drops. I solicited eye drop opinions in the Discord and it was very, very helpful. But yeah, I'm still a little bit recovering, but I feel pretty good. Good enough to do some puzzles tonight at least. I think if I had picked a game, like an actual, like, in-depth game, I probably wouldn't have lasted tonight, but I don't know. I'm excited. What am I doing next? I'm gonna check, because I want to play to a T this week. Let me look at my schedule. I don't even remember what my schedule looks like. Yeah, on Thursday we're gonna play to a T. Friday, I'm gonna doodle some Puyo hams. So if you guys are waiting for some more Puyos, I'm gonna work on those on Friday. And then Saturday is our, we're trying again. We're at 100 line. Needed something easy on the eyes for the time being. Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of crazy because I thought I was having some really, really bad executive dysfunction for a few days, but it turns out that my head was just like, I was having a really hard time focusing because my head was hurting and my eyes didn't really want to cooperate very well because they were sensitive. And I kept waking up sensitive and I was just like, oh man, this could go one or two ways. I could get a migraine today or I'm just like sensitive today. So I kind of just like... you know, toughed it out for the most part, but I think I kind of like, you guys know that one Twitter post that goes around where it's like, if you don't take a break, your body is going to tell you to take a break? That kind of happened to me the other day. But that's okay, we're doing a lot better now. This is part of the pipe, I think. I'm excited though. I think Puyo hams won't be super, I don't think it's gonna be super duper Hampter. I don't think it's gonna be too much work. I know I shouldn't say that because these are for you guys, but it could be worse, it could definitely be worse in the fact that I'm doing like a super detailed render drawing. And that would suck a little bit with how I've been feeling, but Puyo hams are like the perfect balance where I can like doodle stuff and not feel like I want to die. Favorite part of the puzzles is the background. And with my black background here. This is blood. Yeah, I'm gonna make Puyos on Friday. I'm gonna chip away at my little list of Puyos you guys redeemed. Because I didn't have time because of the holiday. Which one of you guys did that? Vento, I'm keeping my eye on you. Let's see. Found you. You're rehyped? Yeah! Yeah, I'll be working on them. I'm hoping to knock out a good chunk of that list, but if not, we'll do another stream the next week. I'm sorry it's taken so long. But, I mean, in my defense, I guess I did tell you guys. I did tell you guys it would take a bit. Did that work? Oh, it did. Sorry. Where do you go? Being so locked in with the puzzle and then everything shifts if you... Yeah, that's my favorite. Just like that. So we need something with a lot going on. That's not it. Oh, someone's color coding. You're smart. Oh no, did we get stumped? I'm feeling a little stumped. Oh, hey. Everyone's going in for the same piece. Good job! Who's ready for the play-by-play? Hell yeah, I'm glad they fixed that too. Yippee, that's right. I'll put us together another one. What should we do next? I could do this one I drew a while back for my not the last karaoke, but the karaoke before then. Hopefully it won't be too harsh on the eyes. Hey Hammie, did you know that jigsaws are actually good to your head? I kind of get the feeling, cause like they're really satisfying, like people that you don't think would normally like puzzles and stuff. It makes sense even if you made it, but you know, like it's kind of like when you're watching something good and your dad comes in and stares at the TV and folds his arms. I feel like everyone does that with a puzzle. I don't know, my brain feels pretty good though. Get eye strain after doing these for too long? Oh yeah. Dad does that with the TV, drives my mom nuts. It's really funny. It does force your brain to engage, which is really nice. Oh yeah, here. I'll leave it on the screen for a second, but yeah, this art. I hope this isn't too many pieces for this one. Every time the room closes, it brings me to the oh no! Hit again with a not safe for work. No! That's really funny. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you guys keep getting blasted with anime titty. I promise it is not my intention. But in my defense, you have to toggle not safe for work on, so you're the freaky one, not me. Shout out to the not safe for work room named Gay Gay Gay. It's not anime titty, it's gay furry cross ex-human. That's crazy. If I get tittied, I get tittied. That's the spirit. See that? That's the spirit. Also, don't forget, if you hit !fish, Sorry, VOD gang, not you guys. But if you hit exclamation point fish, you can fish today too. All of the new Puyo hams that I've made have been added to the pool, so you could potentially fish up your new Hamnation, your new fellow Hamnationites. Duck duck ghoul. Try it if you're watching on YouTube anyway. Yeah, let's see what happens. I kind of low-key hate looking at my art up close like this. Hi, Psycho Mama! Welcome, welcome! Can we get a shout out, please? I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Everyone go follow Psycho Mama right now. I like this. I like this. I can't explain why I like it so much, but I'm going to do that now. Oh yeah, well I'm gonna look at Hammie art harder. I miss you too. I hope you've been well. And I hope you're having a happy new year. Happy holiday if you celebrate. Thank you very much for the 2.0. It's wonderful. Everyone really likes the new Hammie. Yeah, we stand Porter in this room. Super Manager quite enjoys the ears. Can I fish now? Hammie out here at the banger playlist yet again. Thank you, thank you. I always put my whole tail into it. Maybe I should arrange my screen a little differently, but I'm really lazy. I'm very, very lazy. This is a thigh high. The ears are really fluffy. Trying to make them wiggle on my own. If I were able to touch the Hammie ears, it would fix me. I'll let you... You got Malice? Good job! You can touch Fetas if he'll let you. There's one. I have no idea which leg that is. Do I have to like do something for false now? No, no you don't. Hi Seth, I hope you got some snoozers. I hope you're feeling better. There we go. I like looking at this. I like looking at this quite a bit. You got a few hours of snoozing. As someone who is very familiar with how hard it can be to snooze sometimes, we'll take a few hours if we have to. This is another hand. Oh no, in the summer too. It gets so hot. Nothing's worse than having insomnia in the summer. Cool, that one's the right leg, I'm pretty sure. When did you draw this, by the way? I can't really place it in my memory. I pulled it out of my ass, not for this last karaoke I did, but the one I did before that. So I want to say... Was it November? I can't remember the exact date. Your ass is very talented, thank you. I don't know about that, but I'll take the compliment. I do like a little doodle. I do like a little doodle quite a bit. Oh, we got ad gang. Be strong, ad gang. Wee wee sucker. You said it, not me. I always think that that line says sweating balls with the desert skies. Not you, Hammie, just your ass. Oh, wow, that's a new one. I'll take it. I'll take the compliment. Oh, well, thank you, thank you. That's very kind of you guys. What are you? Part of the skirt? You're still wee wee sucker. Beautiful, beautiful. This is the little like bow tie thing. Welcome, Piss Man. Where's the other arm though? Here, take that, please. He's totally says smoking balls in the desert sky. Yes, thank you. Welcome back from Mad Jail, False. Oh, I attached all that. Okay. Oh, we're so close, chat. We're so close. I'm gonna move this out of the way for now. Haven't listened to nearly enough Panic at the Disco. This is a banger. It's off my favorite Panic album. It's Death of a Bachelor. That's my favorite Panic album, and people will actually like dox me for that because it's new Panic at the Disco and everyone gets mad about new Panic at the Disco. Learn not to plug my new channel. Guys, go follow False on YouTube. Super Manager, will you link False's channel so people go follow him? Like their old stuff a lot better, but Panic at the Disco fans are insane. I like both old and new Panic, but my favorite album is still Death of a Bachelor, and Panic fans are scary. Panic fans can be really scary. Unless you're Hideo Kojima, and then you're mildly intimidating, but you fuck with everything. Hi Kashima, welcome, welcome. What is this? Oh, this is a... I did love memes about Panic at the Disco breaking out when it was just Brennan left. Yeah, they're pretty funny. Hideo Kojima has some banger tweets though. I agree. Emergency lemur erase the evidence. Never joke in Hamela Hampter chat. Whoa. No, he lemured. He's gone. As quickly as he arrived, he is gone. Hey, there's the other eye. I like the puzzle of you. Thank you. We always do Hamela Hampter related puzzles. But we might also do my favorite meme at the moment here in a bit too. You've always missed it. We also haven't done it for a while, so it's not just you. It's not just you. I've just been slacking. Chat, did you guys swallow the right side pieces? I know I haven't. I have not swallowed any for a minute. Yeah, I don't think we've done one since, I want to say, July. That's because I was too broke to do to get commissions. There you go. Malice is reinstated. Where the hell do you go? There you go. A rush of power. Must be like the feeling one could get being able to snatch someone out of the river Styx. Stop. Imagine you use like a phoenix down or something. Oh, I like that. Oh wait, the boob does not go there. Where do you go? Oh wait, you go here. Good job beating Hades 1. I hope you enjoyed it. I still need to play that one. It seems like it would be up my alley a little bit. And by up my alley, there's a really good yaoi ship in it, I think. That people like, and I think they're pretty. Hades, stop it! Stop it. It's with a guy who has the same hairstyle as Miles Edgeworth and is just as gay, apparently. I'm gonna make somebody mad. I'm gonna watch you guys fight over this. It's awesome. Maybe I'm gonna look him up. I'm gonna look him up really quick. It's the main guy. It's the main guy, I think. I don't know, but these guys are kind of hot too. Dude, something's been happening to me where I see anime guys together and I'm like, that's not too bad actually. This is new. This is new. And July, welcome to the Fujo Club. Oh my god. I can't watch that for too long or else my head still feels a little weird. Okay, we're gonna watch. Really like Takumi also? I like Takumi too. He gives me cuteness aggression. I want to gnaw on him. Oh, Mr. Bark, I'm sorry. Onward to the next puzzle then. Mr. Bart gives me cuteness aggression. Are you gonna chew on him? Don't chew on him. Oh, I wanted to do this one art that Malice made. I hope you don't mind, Malice. I'm going to make a puzzle out of it. I think it's gonna be a really good one. Do you guys want to do the gay? Yeah, see you guys there. Double Dog dare you to go to the homepage of the puzzle site with not safe for work turned off? Absolutely not. Everybody else, every Hammie else can do it. Oh yeah, don't forget to fish. Congrats on 15 streams! Thank you, thank you. Oh god. mistake. Genshin Impact hits on the homepage. Wow. Isn't the world beautiful? I did a sponsorship for them once. And then I didn't play it again. I know. Honestly, that's epic. Okay, let's see if I can... I see an eye. Hammie scamming Genshin. I did not scam them. I shouldn't say this out loud, but I feel like I should have gotten more from that sponsorship than I did. But, you know, it's okay. Some of my stuff didn't go through the way it should have, but I think it was a scuff thing, so I didn't throw a fit about it, but... Sorry, it didn't go the way you were hoping. It's okay. That was so long ago. Back when I first started streaming, I was kind of scrambling to grab any, like, Stream Elements sponsorship I could. Cause I was, like, just having fun. But I do think that sometimes the widgets were a little janky. So I haven't done them in a really long time. Anyone seen the new entrance for Kit Wilson in WWE? Total cunty entrance, love it. Shit slaps. I have not. If you post it in Gen Media, though, I'll go take a look. My list is starting to get kind of long. Remember that stream and I was too shy to type it in for some reason? No, it was kind of wild. And then my microphone broke. My microphone, well, no, not my microphone, but my reverb. My reverb broke, and I remember there's a clip of it. There's a clip of it, and it, like, everyone was getting so mad because... It was kind of crazy. The reverb was so loud and it echoed so much. If I only played a game for a sponsorship once and never heard from them again and never played the game again, I would kind of feel taken advantage of. It's because I have that Eastern European sadness. Especially when my tummy hurts. Seen that one Tazon day stream? I don't think I have. I didn't... For the longest time, me and Tazon Day were mutuals on my main Twitter. And then one day he unfollowed me for some reason. I was like, damn, I took that kind of personally. Yeah, we used to be oomfies. We never spoke, but then he unfollowed me one day. I was like, okay, fuck you too, buddy. You know, I think Tayson Day was just like, he followed a lot of people. He followed a lot of people, and then I think one day it caught up to him, and he's like, damn, I followed a lot of people, and I don't give a shit about any of this. Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened, I think. Mr. Bark Treat, oh my goodness, you're gonna get so fat tonight, because I didn't get the training treats out. Oh, Mr. Bark Treat, that means I have to give him a treat on the camera. Then there's the based god approach to following people. Okay, I may have to limit that for the rest of the stream because he's had 3 treats now. How many calories are these? Oh yeah, I've definitely given him too much of these. Okay, Mr. Burke. He'll be okay though. He'll be okay. I didn't give him any the last couple of days, so they're gonna sink to his thighs. We want his butt bigger. No, we don't. No, we don't. We don't want him to explode. Hamela, I remember your Wattpad account from 2009 with Jimmy Neutron Fix. What's Wattpad? I used fanfiction.net or AO3. But I didn't write anything. Isn't it awesome? Malice made that. Malice is in chat. I was zero help this puzzle. I just had fun watching you. Chat looking at Mr. Bark like, yeah, eat that treat. Get fatter. Why are you looking at me like that? Alright, it's time. Hell yeah. Excellent. Ready for the next one, chat? We're running out of them. We're running out of them. Do Puyo hams work for the new model? Yeah, all of the new Puyo hams are added both to the fishing pool and the pinning pool. So if you want yours pinned, you can do that now. Thank you for the sticky note. Un momento, por favor. I think I'm gonna do 100 for this one too. Has everybody gotten their Rule 34 dailies in? Have we, chat? Have we? I think the cruelest thing about the not safe for work anime puzzles is that they have the preview disabled, so I can't even tell if it's good anime bobos. You can edit your settings to let you see it if you truly want to. I have mine turned off because I'm always scared that I'm gonna accidentally go to the home page on stream. Okay, I'm gonna pin some Puyos really quick, okay? Be strong in my absence. There we go. There we go. Perfect. This one's also by Kissy. I love it when there's text. I love it. Well, I have to sneeze really bad. Oh god, I'm sorry. I helped. I want a fish. Wait, I wish I could blast Loud Ass Nightcore on my puzzle night, but now we're gonna listen to Joji. Loggerhead Turtle. This is Filthy Frank, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got a trout. Cleanly Clive. There we go. Still can't get over what an insane career pivot he made, right? I kind of adore him. I really hope that, I get a chance to see him live because that's one of the things you got Super Manager? Super Manager got caught. Wow, every Hammie's getting caught tonight. I am really hoping I get a chance to see him live though. That's like one of my regrets, when I lived in LA, I didn't see him live. And that the concert I was gonna go see, of Kyari Pamu Pamu got canceled because of the pandemic. I was so devastated, chat. I liked living in LA. It was just way too busy and it's way too far away from my family. LA's a lot of fun. I got to go to like official Love Live events and shit. And also like got to go to Anime Expo. And that was pretty awesome. Yeah, all the cool anime stuff happens over there. Yeah, and I saw, oh man, it wasn't in LA, but when I went to San Jose, I got to see Flow live, and I got to see them perform my favorite Naruto opening, so that was sick as hell. Excuse me. The way I feel about LA is that it's really fun to visit, but it's very hard to live in. Good job! We already got this? Alright, we finished that one fast. I'm running out of puzzles though, admittedly. We've only been doing this for an hour. Give me a quick sec, I'll throw together the next one. I don't know who is that. Hold on. Let me look at my let me look at what I got. Can't stay the whole stream tonight, unfortunately. That's okay. We're not gonna go super long. We'll probably do let's do I'm thinking. Sorry, give me a sec. What do I want to do? Ooh, poutine. Have I had poutine before? It always looks really good. I saw someone talking about their General Tso's poutine. And I need that in my life. Here we go. Here's this meme I made at one point. This one's gonna be bought or put together in like no time, but that's okay. That's okay. You can tell I'm running out of content. Next we'll put together my favorite meme. We'll put together my favorite meme after this. At least my favorite meme currently. Tails gets trolled. Me too. It's really funny. Wait. All of this is so difficult forever. Whoa, I got that. No, Mal is fumbling the guy with the knuckles tattoo. That's okay. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard. Had a cool talk with our beer delivery guy at work about our Dragon Ball tattoos. That's awesome. Need an edit of the next panel of Tails going Knuckles, but it's Hammie going Super Manager. I need that too. I need to commission a comic. I need to commission a comic. That's adorable. Dragon Ball character for each of his family members. That's really wholesome. I really like the proportions right now of the unput together puzzle. Amazing, amazing. We finished that one really fast. All right, guys, we're gonna do a completely unrelated meme now because it's been my favorite image lately. Yes, more Ninja Sex Party. Oh God. Oh wait, hold on. I'm still afraid that I'll get anime titty blasted one of these moments. Do I have it on my computer? You guys are gonna get so irritated with me. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Before we do that. This isn't the meme, but we're gonna do this next. We're gonna do this next. You wanna go to a ninja sex party? It's pretty fun. It's the resting bitch face. Hamela when the hawk don't twa. That's right. Absolutely. goes over here. It's true. How come we got 2 Friday Night Findoms now? Actually, don't answer that question. I don't need it. I think this might be over here. Can we have 2? We did have 2. We can have 2. I won't judge you. This is a judgment-free zone. Yes! It's coming together. We're missing a bottom part. We're gonna have so many orange pieces to put together. I think this goes here. Forehead. Whitest girl alive. Yes! I'm so awesome. I'm gonna take a sip of my water here. Oh no, it's all, oops, all orange. I think this goes here. Oh god, I'm sorry. Sentenced to 1K piece monochrome puzzle. That's what happened when I did the fuck them kids meme. You did what? Hold on. Oh, you haven't seen the meme. Hold on. Let me grab it really quick, okay? No, you can tell Twitter all you want, but they already know. Thanks for coming by, Mohammediza. I hope you get to feeling better. Thanks for dropping by. You have a good night too. It's this one, this one. This one. That one. Top 10 photos of all time. I think that might be, I think I'm gonna call it there with the puzzles because I'm not gonna make you guys put together the stupid Finn Wolfhard one. But I will show you, I will show it to you. I will show it to you again. Oh no! That could have been so bad. That could have been so bad. Oh my goodness, I would have had to nuke this stream so fast. Oh my god, everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Damn it, he got me.
Okay, well, since Super Manager asked really nicely, we'll do one more. We'll do one more. God, I felt my light flash before my eyes a second ago. I'm not gonna lie. This fucking image. Okay, this is the last puzzle. This is the last puzzle, chat. And it's only cause Super Manager asked so nicely. The strangest thing. Hold on, I need to screen cap this for a friend really quick. The more this comes together, the more it's sending me. I need someone to draw this but Hammie. It's not gonna be as funny as the original, but I think it would be pretty awesome. Hammie flipping someone off. Hamela aggro. The Hamela aggro point 2.0. Yeah! Everyone Hamela aggro now. Everybody get more aggro right now. I think this might, no. You go here. Does this go? No. Oh my god. Top emote attributed to you in my recap. That's so funny. That's hilarious. This goes here. This goes here. Wait, hold on. Yes! Yes! There we go. Look at us. There we go. Yeah, good job, chat. We'll play that recap. If thank goodness, thank goodness. All right, chat, that was a good last puzzle. Let's do some streamer dailies. The strangest thing is that nobody asked. Okay, guys, do you guys want to play streamer dailies, or do you want to do a little bit of words on stream? Either way, I have to pee, and I'm gonna have to do something about that. So I could go ahead and set you guys up while I do that with some words on stream really fast. And then we'll do I am not a robot. Wait, hold on, actually. There we go. I will have to hide the Mr. Bart cam for this. And then I peek. Alright guys, if you don't know the drill, we're playing words on stream. Let me unpin that really quick actually. So if you haven't played words on stream before, you can either use your, you can use Twitch chat or you can use your device. In order to use your own device, you will need to scan the QR code in the lower right-hand corner right next to my face here, right here. Don't look too long, but, and then, yeah, we'll have, level 33 is our record to beat. If we beat level 33, you get a karaoke stream. Your device. Yeah, your smart fridge. So you better get that thing all updated and ready to rock, because you're gonna play words on stream on your smart fridge. And then I'm gonna run, oh man, I'm not even gonna run an ad. I'm just gonna start the game and I'm gonna go pee. My fridge dumb. Yeah, we got stupid fridges. Anyway. Let me move chat a little bit before we get started, because I feel like it's gonna get in the way as is. Wait, are all the new Puyos added? Because I want to pin the one I commissioned. If I finished yours, then you can. Which I think I did, actually. All of the new ones are in the pool, and I can pin them. Ready on my air fryer? Hell yeah. Alright, I got you. Let me pin that really quick. Oh, for some reason it's giving me a hard time. Give me a sec. Used to obsess over living, and now I'm only obsessed over you. Hold on. Give me like 2 seconds here. I thought I had them all in the pool. There we go. Alright, it should be just a moment. My apologies. Oh, I see what happened. I don't know why she got... There we go. There we go. You're on my ear. You're gonna go a little crazy, but... I'm gonna... Alright, Pete Wentz, can you watch Hamnation while I use the restroom? Uh-oh, not the ad break. Oh, should I wait? Should I wait? I feel like the first round of rounds is gonna be easy. One more moment. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shrink chat and put it over here. Super Manager is getting fish tonight. And then I gotta update my channel info. Ooh, I got a swordfish. If you catch me, you have to feed me. What do you want to eat? Oh, I want Raising Cane's so bad. I just want chicken tendies. Alright, chat. I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna go ahead and set the game to go. I'll be right back, okay? So if anything's wrong, you're gonna have to be patient. I will now hire this hamster to stare at you, so be strong. Okay, I'm back. I washed my hands and I'm back. I power peed. Hello. Oh, do I need to lower a little bit more? Good job, you guys got it perfect. Wahoo! Hmm. Hmm. Oh. Rough bow bow. Hmm. This one's kind of hard. Nard. Nar. Rand. No nard. Hey, you can't say that. That's our word. I'm forcing myself in. Let me in. Bring snacks and you can come in. Okay. I will bring puppy chow. This one was hard. Why was it so hard? It was because all we had was an A and a U. Farn. Duff. Puppy chow? You've never... Oh, puppy chow is like... You get Chex, like cereal, and then you mix together peanut butter and chocolate, melt it, and I think there's something else in there. Congrats, chat. And then you mix it with the Chex Mix, or with the Chex cereal, and then you coat it in powdered sugar, and it definitely makes you feel like horrible when you eat it, but it's really yummy. Learned about puppy chow recently. I don't remember where though. Yeah, no. Me and Hammie Mama made Chex Mix, like savory, spicy, sweet Chex Mix at home. And then we made puppy chow with our leftover Chex cereal. OMGs? Ooh, I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know what an OMG is. Chemical thingy. Oh, Furon? I didn't know that word either. We're learning tonight, chat. Allow us to continue. Fever? Oh, we only have... I think the W might be fake. No? W's not fake. Then is it the V? The V might be fake. Hold on, I need to make sure that... I need to double check and make sure that my Q isn't going to give me a hard time here. This works. We'll just do this for a while. Wafer. Poor Blackberry on my ear. Hang on, buddy. Oh, we already had warfare. Oh, so... Oh, man. Yay! Look at us getting a perfect again. Wahoo! No, we got a mystery letter now. Fuck that guy. Oh, man. Lasagna! I wasn't gonna call you out, Ruff, but I kind of want to call you out. Snag. Is welcome, Crystal. Alas. You guys missed the really cool hair flip I just did IRL. Just so you're aware. This... Oh, I already did Gala. Looked like a runway model. You have so much faith in me. Lags. Mr. Bark saw it? Yeah, he did. He's in here. Wow, we got 69 points. Go us. Gals. Garu. Ooh. There we go, 2 levels, not too bad. Wonder what the letter that isn't working is. Z? Z's fake. Oh, we already got depot. S. Oh wait, it's 5-letter words now. This is not my round, chat. But it's okay, we're almost there. Popes. We got it. Pesto. I love pesto. Good job. We're on level 16 now, or level 18 now? Yeah, level 18. Worth a shot. Hi guys, did I miss off stream? We're just playing words on stream now. The L is fake? Okay. Then what's the mystery letter? Put you up there? You got it. There's a lot of you now. I've never heard this song before. Ooh. Are we gonna get a... I don't know. That was a tough one. Good job, Hammy. We're at 21. I don't know if we're gonna beat our goal tonight, but... Oh God. No, it wouldn't have been that. Ooh, eggplant? Eggplant. Is the mystery letter E then? Oh, yay, yay, okay. Someone... I got it. I got it. I helped. Wahoo. Ooh, pedal's a good one. Oh, no! Oh! That was really close. Good job, good job. All right. That save was incredible. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Let me take a drink of water. Everybody, take a drink of water. Hammy, you gotta lock it. I'm trying. I'm really bad once I reach this point. I'm also tired as balls, but I also got scared you were late, but you were great. You came in clutch. Crap. Make McGriddle. I want a McGriddle. I haven't had one in forever. Hammie Mama got me one of those Blackstone grill things for Christmas, and I'm about to re-enter my Grill Dad arc, chat. It's gonna be awesome. Maybe I can make my own McGriddle. Hammie grilling stream win. I don't know how I would record it with a GoPro. GoPro works. I'll have to look. I'll look into it. I should ask Zepp how he does it. Hamela would never release her own line of sandwiches and fries. Clueless. Teehee. Maybe. Good job, chat. 5 letters. We got a perfect that time. Hello, Dolphin Mermaid. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. We need the help. Crow's gonna carry all of us. So is Sleepless, though. You guys are good. You guys are good at this. Oh, it's so fast and I hate it so much. My goodness. Twerk. Oh, we're so close. I think it's got a K. Oh. Oh, what's this last one? I think it starts with a K, but... Whoa, that was a surprisingly easy word. Oh my god, are we gonna beat 33 tonight? I'm not gonna jinx ourselves. In fact, if you hear me right now, that's me knocking on wood, because I'm not gonna ruin it for every Hammie when I'm not carrying my own weight. Let's do this. Shit, I did promise that, didn't I? Fuck. Okay, well, I will keep my promise. Oh my god. Oh man, porn is only 4 letters. Oh man. Uh-oh. Ooh. Was it Tunic that went through? Oh my god. Okay. 80. important. Oh no. Darn! We were so close, chat. We were so close. Oh. Do you guys want to go again, or are you spent? That was a pretty good run, though. That was a pretty good run. You guys deserve all of the head pats for that. But, we could do... I also kind of feel like my brain died, too. Thought tonic was the first word. I thought it was tunic, but also it was going so fast that it was kind of hard to keep up. So we can do some streamer dailies, and then I'll probably call it a night from here. I want to do I'm Not a Robot really bad. But give me a quick second, because I actually need to set that up really fast. I'm just going to shift on over to my Be Right Back screen really quick while I update my info and everything. Time to catch paw. Pause at you. Pause at you. Actually, hold on. Oops, I was a dummy and I accidentally... Do you have Stream Elements? I use OBS, but I have the Stream Elements app, yes. Also, unfortunately, I am a dummy and I definitely used the wrong, I accidentally hit the I am not a robot already. So, hold on. There we go. Alright. Okay, let's see if I can do this. I'm gonna move my screen around a tiny bit really quick too, since we got a lot of white space here. Wahoo! Hey, it's like Stream Elements was summoned. That's pretty funny. I can zoom in. I'll zoom in here in a moment. I will do that. There, now you can see Mr. Bark again. There we go. Love this music. Thank you. I've been listening to a lot of the Beths lately. Select all the squares with a stop sign. Write it down to check later. I can always share, well, not necessarily share, but I can always share the artists that I put into my playlists too, if you ever want me to in the Discord. Oh god, this one's so weird on the eyes. Is that a D? Wiggles. Vegetable. They're not gonna get me with the tomato. Vegetable. Carrot. Onion. Corn. Mr. Potato Head? Is eggplant? Eggplant's a vegetable, right? Eggplant's a vegetable. Is avocado technically a fruit? Oh! Reassemble the intersection? Technically, stop! Man, fuck you. Ah! Incredibly loud, incorrect buzzer. I need to get one of those. Take that, asshole. Select all squares with a stop sign in bike? Yeah, we're giving up on words now because we're all spent and tired. And I'm gonna try and be not a robot. Yeah, I don't want to be a robot. Stop sign in a bike. What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, wait. Hold on. It's a word search. Hold on, I got this. I got this. There's bike. Where's? I see spood. Where's spood? I see spood now too. Stop sign in bike. I may be stupid, but split. Sign. Where's sign? If I sign? Wait. Got you. Let's see. Oh, so close. No, don't smiley face me. We'll get there eventually. Stop. Oh, I'm stupid. I'm so dumb. Enter the perpetrator's license plate. Select all squares of the stop sign. Oh my god. This is so much. Just a little spoon. That's right. That's right. Mole! Got you? Can't escape me. Oh, feisty. Did we get them all? Waldo! Where is he? Where is he? Where's that motherfucker? Does she know? Does she know what? Where's Waldo? Where is he? I'll find you, you fuck. I've got to scoot in. I gotta scoot in. Where is he? I see him! There he is. Is there multiple Waldo? No. Chihuahua! You're a Chihuahua? You're a Chihuahua? Traffic light. What do you mean? Without! I'm... God damn it. I am not a robot. Affirmations. I'm an AI girlfriend. I'm also running on AA batteries. I'm a Roomba. I'm stuck in a loop. I'm legally a blender. Hot single in your area. I'm a hot single in your area. Damn it. Okay. I'm not a robot. I'm a captcha. No. Can I redo it? I'm gonna redo it. No! I can't hear that. You did see my spirit break. I can't hear it. I can't hear it. Is that just an M? Kazoo tight? I need to turn the music off for a second. Okay, okay, okay. The fuck are you saying? I'm really confused. And I'm broken. I'm broken. Yeah, herpister. Did we break it? Did the streamer daily tell me that it's time to stop? Oh, I fixed it. Got it. I'll put the music back on now. I remember. No. I am not a bot. We will rebuild, chat. Oh, this is gonna be the hardest part. Fuck you. Stop it! Stop it! Don't own me. Stop sign. Where is it? Bike. Bike, 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 bike. 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 Where is it? Bike is short for Bikel. Bikel, it's your birthday! Can the real Bikel please stand up? Where the fuck are you? Don't piss me off. Bike. 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 I like this one. I get to do it again now. All right, Waldo. Chihuahua time again. Wait, I thought I clicked you. Select all the squares without a traffic light. Not gonna fool me this time. Hi, Pachi. Welcome, welcome. Affirmations. I'm Akinator. That's an affirmation. Sentient toaster. We're not doing this shit again. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger is a pretty good affirmation. I'm still a hot single in your area. Oh, this is such a good song. I'm Cleverbot. I dream of electric sheep. Hammie is in my area. I'm rapidly approaching. Whenever you're not running, I'm getting closer. I am a yap bot. I don't know. I'm a smart fridge. Extensive testing confirms Hamela Hampter is not a hot single in your area. Jeez, so mean to me. I'm Ichinator. Oh, you matched with me? Yeah. And what is it on a dating app? Do you swipe left on someone you like? And then you swipe right when you want to swipe away? I'm a voice assistant. Look beside the smart fridge. I'm a captcha? Oh. I'm a Roomba? Then am I a dumb fridge? No. You're a very, very, very eloquent fridge. Catch paw. Can we backseat, please? I don't get this one. Left column? I'm not a human? I like that game. Not a robot? That's what I'm supposed to do that the entire time? Shit. Park the Waymo in the parking spot. Use arrow keys to drive. Oh, this is gonna be hard. Oh! What do you mean? Do I gotta do this? Do I gotta do it like this? Oh, no! Oh, okay. What the fuck are you? Huntgnt? HUNGZ. Draw a circle around this. Okay. Oh! I thought it meant literally around this, and it was gonna bamboozle me, and then it didn't. Draw a circle that is 94% accurate. Bruh. I'm over this. Your mom's a little bit chub. Ooh! Oh, I don't need to click reset every time? I got it. I got it at least. It is Puyo shaped. Oh no. No! I still did better. Select all squares with a fire hydrant. I like this one. It's okay, I would still flirt with your mother. Oh, shit. Did we get them all? I liked that too. Ew! 69? Wait, A9 6K. A9 6K. Wait. There's a J before the 6. Describe what you see. Mothman. Craft a diamond pickaxe. Wait. How do I? Fuck. I'm a fake Minecrafter. Hold on. No shit. No, don't refer. Don't. No. Be nice to me. Wow. Fuck. Fuck. How do I make a pickaxe again? Whatever. Whatever. This is 3 parts? No! Not yet, I'm not ready! I'm not ready, I'm not ready! You gotta- oh! Okay, I gotta make sticks. Wait, hold on. I'm combining all of these. Be nice to me! I cook. I cook and it is delicious. Yay! See, I told you guys I'm a gamer. Thank you for the head pats. Can we get 52 gifted? Quack! Oh, 3 diamonds gifted. Find the guitar cat. Gato? Yes, it is. El gato? Where's the guitar cat? Look, it's someone's Meemaw. You had to look up the solution for this one? I thought this person had her grippers out. Oh, that's a guy, I think. No, it's a girl. I thought the grippers were out, though. This is making me nauseous. Where's Guitar Cat? Are we looking for something literal? Wait, where'd she go? Where the fuck did they go? Get a room! Gato! Look at this kid! Look at this kid freaking out here. Can't wait for the torrent of shaming when we get to where I just rage quit. Did you rage quit here? Hammy, it's really funny you said that you said get a room. Now you looking up the answer here? Should I go back to them? Is there a guitar cat over here? Let us know if you need a hint. Look! It's Bluey's sister. Bingo. Maybe I will take a little... Besides Guitar Cat, another thing is to find the kissing couples and shame them. I will accept a hint. I will accept a hint. Find cables. Guys, look, a rainbow! Nice pride backpack. You're a depiction of a cat with a guitar. Got you. There's wires over here. Oh, nuts. No, be strong at game. Find cables. Find cables. I saw these cables. Oh, you said tables, not cables. Tables. Wait. We've got double Mr. Worldwide here. A depiction of a cat with a guitar. Family. We're all Mr. Worldwide here. Are there more tables? Tables. There's tables here. Mr. Worldwide and his husband. Wholesome. Can we get heart rainbow hands? Can we get more of them? Yeah, they are Mr. 610 together. 610. There's some tables over here. Backfish. Okie dokie. Have a good rest of your night, Angry Seal. Thanks for coming by. Wait, here's some over here. Oh my god! I like his Vans. Guitar Cat. I thought these were 2 feet. Need a bigger hint? I think I do. I may be a little stupid. Wait, here's tables. It's on someone's shirt. Welcome back, Ad Gang. Yes! Yes! Okay, last row. E, D, F, C, Z, P. I examined. Please type the number you see. I see the number 8. Ooh, type the number of dots in the image. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. 34. Which square is a different color? Fuck, I should have worn my glasses tonight. Is it this one? Ah! Express yourself. Express myself?
Hamster.
Hamster. Uh-oh. I'm not sure what I gotta do here. Use another? Wait, hold on, I gotta get creative with it. It's not what I look like, Hammie. No, I'm supposed to express myself. Get in line. Never fully understood it when I got it. Express yourself. Oh fuck, I've got a parallel park. I've got a parallel park. Okay, we got this. I got this. Ooh. Just drifted. I'm trying. It's gonna be more of a Tokyo drift, okay? You catch my drift. Do I look like I have good motor skills? This sucks. I can parallel park like a champ in real life, but I can't do this. One of those sim steering wheels. Paint a certain amount on the canvas. I kept adding random stuff around my Super S and hitting Vera. That's one way to go about it though. Fuck. Fuck. God damn it. Ah! Giving you hints would be actual backseat driving. Damn, I was hoping that'd be close enough. What movie are we going to go see, chat? Ah! What if I rage quit here? What if I rage quit here? Cars, don't piss me off. I'm gonna pivot real good here. Does she have it? Does she have it? She may not have it, chat. Oh, please. No! Come on! We need a hard pivot. Ugh. God! Fuck, shit, balls, piss. You guys suck. What kind of asshole makes the parking just like this, huh? This sucks so good. This sucks so bad. No backseating. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Can we stop for McDonald's? Absolutely not. You can walk. Then walk home. Walk home. I put up with so much. I put up with so much. Oh! Holy shit. No! I'm not doing this! I'm not doing it! Fuck! God! Shit! Hurry up, Turbo! I'm pissed off. I don't like that rock. Will this work? Oh, fuck. Oh, connect the network cables to fill all the squares? Wait, hold on. I did it. I did it. Let's see if I can figure this out. Uh, uh, uh. Ah. Wait, hold on. Fuck! Fuck! I'm resetting this one. Fuck! Fuck! If I win this one, I'll get to send Ruff to college. Fuck, I missed it. Bruh. Thanks, Malice. I'm trusting Malice with all of my stock market. Damn. Shit. Shit. God damn it. Oh. It's turnips all over again. Select all the items with a soul. The Roomba has a soul. Wait, no. You're right. That's a mosquito. Woo! Reassemble the stop sign. Okay. Okay. I hate these. I'm so bad at these. You rage quit at this one? I don't blame you. I saw what kind of puzzle it was. They just closed the tab. Honestly, that's valid. Well, chat, it's been real great. It's been real great. I don't think I'm gonna get this one tonight. I'm so fucking tired. Come on, Hammy, but I'm tired. You guys are so mean to me. Hmm. Hmm. Fuck. We're so close. This is bullshit. Bullshit! Hi, Heather, welcome! I hope you're doing well. Mm. Friend was watching when you were parking the car, and I just saw the text you sent saying that's your Oshi. Am I your Oshi? Your Oshi's kind of dumb as bricks. Oh my goodness. How do I... Hi, doggy. Ugh. Glad to catch you. Hopefully the captchas aren't sassing you too badly. It's awful, Heather. It's terrible. This one might do me in. Catch paws. Oh boy. Mm. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, we're so close, chat. We're so fucking close. Yeah, they're gonna catch pause. It's because I can't say it correctly. Mm. Thank you for the sticky. Select all the squares with a traffic light. Play the sick beats. Oh shit, I gotta turn my music off for this, I think. Okay. Hold on. Okay, start over. Oh my god. No! Yeah! KGHAM. Well, chat, it's been good. It's been great. This is the greatest. No. Fuck me, this sucks. I don't know what any of this is. Just guess 9 times. I know infinity is the biggest. Oh. Yippee! Ah! Thank you, Kimberly, for the resub! Grandpa got ran over by a semi. I don't know what any of this bullshit means. You think this is where you stopped? I'm gonna be honest, I'm stumped here. I'm really stumped. And I don't know if I have the energy in me to figure it out tonight, but maybe we will have energy soon to figure it out. I do think, though, that 3 hours was a pretty good run, chat, and I think I'm gonna call it here. Who's live still? Who's live still? I won't be streaming tomorrow. I've got a babysitting gig. But I will be back on Thursday for hopefully finishing to a T. Emily and Mimi are both live. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's see. Let's see. Only one of these, I have no clue, is for the integration. Don't sit on babies. I'm not sitting on the babies. The babies are probably, I don't know, pushing me to the floor and sitting on the couch and getting on the table and stuff. I don't know. Oh, we haven't gotten a raid into Sterling in a hot minute. What if we raided into Sterling? I think we should raid into Sterling tonight. I think that's a good idea. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. Oh, also Kichi's live, but it's a go ahead. Let me double check and make sure that Sterling is going for a bit longer because he's on his just chatting screen. I think Sterling may be finishing up. Do you know that hamster girls eat sadness? I can just tell you how to calculate the bottom right. But is it least to greatest? Oh no! Also, some of my technology is dying and I have to charge it, so this is for the best. This is for the best. Why don't we read into Kiji? Just to be safe, because I think Kiji's still going for a while and I've never had the chance to raid into Kiji. Wahoo! Alright, chat. Thanks for coming by tonight. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you. We built some puzzles together. We worded on stream. We worded on stream, and then we pet Mr. Bark, and then we're not a robot. And then, you know the drill, as always. Here, let me go ahead and hit that. We do words, it's true. We do words. Do mega do. Be good, be safe, and most of all, be kind, and I'll see you on Thursday, okay? I'll see you guys on Thursday. We'll have some fun. Oh, and thank you for the resub. Oh my god, you guys got a hype train going. Thank you. You have all of my thank yous. But yes, okay. Have a good night, and I'll see you on Thursday. I appreciate every Hammie that came by. We're gonna do the thing now. Wait, hold on. Wait. Raid message. You know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We'll just Hamela Wiggly on over. Oh, you guys are sweet. You're sweet. Okay, I'll see you later, okay? Be good until then, alright? Take care of yourselves, of course. I'm going to be wearing my glasses and sleeping lots. Bye-bye.